so honored and proud to be your coach. Portland, Salt Lake, they can send us to the moon.
Okay, should we start?
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. No, let's wait a few minutes.
No, let's go. We are live, baby! But we are also on tape. We are deep down in the bowels of this music. Chris Folds, Bennett, Greg the engineer, Magic Mike, and Bill at the controls. Full House, episode 82 of Kamloops Last Week. 82.
82, 82. That's the year that the Canucks broke most people's hearts for the first time, when the Harold Steps passed the puck in
Islanders?
overtime and Bossy scored in game one. The Canucks could have won that game. Yeah, they got swept in 4. That was the second time Foldsy cried when the Canucks broke his heart. The first time was a few years earlier when they lost a best of 3 to the Buffalo Sabres in the old 1 versus 16 format. And of course, since then, the Canucks have done nothing but do the wrong thing, including now winning when the games mean nothing, when they should be losing on purpose.
It's a beautiful day here, 1982.
82.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Van Halen.
Little Van Halen rewriting a
Roy Orbison song. That's right. Pretty Woman. Oh, that reminds me of my high school days.
I remember this.
Yeah.
It made me want to play guitar more.
Maybe want to go drink in the park.
Yeah, it's
Which
not
we
one
did.
of my favorite tunes.
Oh, you have no
No.
clue. No clue whatsoever.
I got a lot of clue. This one's not so
Well,
good.
you know what?
It's Roy Orbison. Roy Orbison's like they call him Pope Roy Orbison because he was one of the greatest of all time.
It's kind of a soft cover.
He's right below Elvis Presley, but you wouldn't know that because
I know.
you listen
the
to
King.
disco.
I grew up with the King, pal.
Yeah, King
Musical
James, Bible,
awakening.
maybe.
Well, that too, big time. Actually, I got out of the King James when I found Elvis.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good cover. It's a great cover.
It's so hard to have this conversation with somebody that knows so little about music, but so much about sports.
That's true.
I don't want to have him come at me on the sports end.
Well, you
like
probably
I can
won't.
go after him.
You're
with
probably a guy who
musicality.
thinks that Sammy Hagar and Van Halen was a good idea, but I
I
digress.
won't have my musical knowledge questioned. That just was a bad song, flat out.
It's not a bad song. Do you like Roy Orbison?
It's all right.
All right.
Yeah, I got no problem with Roy
No
Orbison.
one had a voice like Roy Orbison. Nobody. Not
But
even
the
Elvis.
cover isn't very good. Everybody knows
What's
that.
wrong with the
Everybody
covers?
agrees.
The cover's great.
By the way, we bow to nobody. We bow to no sponsors on
No
this show.
sponsors on this show. It's,
Nope.
it's disgusting when people say things like, listen, there's a sponsor coming on, and I don't really care. You know, it's just...
We bow to no sponsors on the show. Next week, we bring on officially, this is just a preview of our brand new sponsor, the car of the people, for the show of the people, Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
They're coming on. They are sponsoring the Magic Mirror, brought to you by
Volkswagen!
Volkswagen. So thanks very much to Terry Lowe and the crew. Tara Holmes, we have to give her some credit. She helped out with the process. So
She sure did.
They
Yeah.
come on next week. Thank you. Thank you. Greg, that's your new main duty. Welcome back, Greg, the engineer. Okay. Mike,
Oh, yes.
new building and not where it needs to be.
Well, it's still in the works,
Okay.
but yeah, we're expanding. Of course, you know, Riversong's really growing like mad. We've got a lot of crazy growth plans going on, and we just need a gross amount of space. So, unfortunately, in Kamloops, we can't find a building. We've put out public cries for help, and we found a building just outside of town, and that's going to be where we're going to expand our new Pacific line of guitars.
Sycamoose.
Sycamoose, yeah.
And this has a lot to do with money, prices of property in town.
There's a couple things going on, but one of the things is, it's I can spend $27,000 a month to keep that production line here in Kamloops, or have no mortgage in Sycamoose. That's a big difference.
It's a growing company. People love the company.
We're still
Wouldn't
in
it be great to
Kamloops.
keep it here? And can you get someone to give you a break? The city of Kamloops, maybe, or somebody out there.
Maybe the city's got some dealio going on. Instead of putting in a car wash where Greyhound's going, where it was, maybe they could cut a dealio on some property or something. You know, right now it's actually cheaper to build than it is to buy a building. So, but the problem is you can't find a lot, and the time it takes to build something is like years. So, how do you deal with that when you have a timeline to deal with too, right?
Okay.
Isn't Sycamoose like 2 hours from here?
Hour and 40 minutes.
We're not going to be going there for the show. You're still going to have a building here.
We still have our shop here. Not a lot's changing here. Warehouse space is going to be in Sicamous. There's going to be more. Our new production line of Pacific Series guitars is going to be done in Sicamous, and we're also going to be starting to do fiberglass drums, which Sicamous has generational knowledge of fiberglass.
Plus, you're going to be, most importantly, closer to your houseboat.
Closer to my boat, too. That
That's
also
the
helps, too.
main thing here. I got a question for Bennett, Greg, and Bill. Does Mike ever make you do things that are supposed to be beneficial, these changes that are supposed to advance the company, but it's just a big boondoggle? I mean, like technological updates that really aren't pushing forward.
Bill, do you have anything you want to say about that?
No, I'm thinking.
Greg, you want to say? Go ahead. You can say. Be honest. Bennett? No, everything's all good. Yeah.
Because my boss here, Foldsy, and we had a brief conversation yesterday in the office about this. Keeps on changing things. The cut lines in our newspaper. So a cut line in our newspaper explains the photo. That's it. It's a couple sentences. And there's a photo credit. And it's every new week, it's here, and then it's down there. And the way we do dates in the paper, it's in brackets, and then it's not in brackets. It's a constant change. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, without change, you die. You wither. So we have to keep changing with the times. And, well, we got to change up. You know, we're a weekly newspaper, like a news magazine we're making it look like now. We're online, we have all the breaking news like everybody else does. But the weekly paper is no longer 3 times a week like we used to be. No longer like the daily news every day where, you know, everyone knows when Tuesday and Wednesday is. So we're going the way the magazines do. And and instead of saying days, we say dates. It makes perfect sense to me. The cut line thing, for most readers, this is deep in the woods. That's just deep in the weeds. That's just a.
But that's my point.
That's a style
The readers don't care.
No, but I care.
It's changed there and changed there. Nobody else cares.
No, but I care, and I'm the editor, and that's all that matters. So there you go.
But you also don't like things like the website host that we have. We're constantly changing that. We go to Gallipoli, which I called Gallipoli because it was a nightmare.
That's beyond my pay grade and my brain power. That's our overlords who keep changing stuff on the background side, which we all hate, and it's all about, you know, saving money and trying to find efficiencies, and usually it adds up to neither of the two.
Mike, do you have any thoughts on this?
No.
Have you just been holding a Volkswagen van up the whole time?
No, I wouldn't do that. That's weird. But I am excited about our new sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay, so us three, again, last weekend. It was another busy weekend for us, wasn't it, Mike?
It was, yeah. We decided to see who could hold their breath the longest. And that's not only it's a challenge to hold your breath, but it's also an honesty thing, because sometimes you can.
Well, and I was able to do that while eating a chicken Big Mac. I just had to up my nostrils.
I'm so excited about the chicken Big Mac, and I know you are. The reason why you were holding your breath was because you were eating it so fast. It just, yeah.
And then we took down, we went to Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. We just tossed folds into a washing machine and to see if he could keep his breath, we turned it on to the spin cycle.
They're well sealed. They don't leak.
They don't leak at all.
They don't leak at all.
I could barely. Yeah, they don't leak. And I came out and I was wet and I was cold, so of course I had to grab myself
hot coffee.
Hot coffee to warm me up again. Yeah, and by that point I had lost. I lost the bet.
Didn't last very long.
No.
He's not a team player.
No, in fact, he was so tired he fell down and had a great sleep on a Sealy mattress.
Oh, so I couldn't remember my dreams. It was so comfortable.
But you were dreaming. I remember them. Yeah. You were dreaming about club cars.
Oh, that's
you were
right.
dreaming about club car vodka.
The berries, the berry crush.
And the peach melba, the sea breeze, the pineapple mojito, the carousing that you do as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, carousing. I was out on Monday night, and who did I run into at a great jazz show in town? Our very own Bill.
Oh.
Enjoying a great jazz show. Me and my wife were there, and it was fantastic. At the Effie. The Effie is the place to be in town lately.
Lots of cool
Did
stuff
you guys take a little break during the intermission, go back to your VW van and have a little puff?
No, but we went out to our Herbie the Love Bug thing, me and my wife, and we had a little smooch in the Love Bug, and then went back into the show.
My sister is a Volkswagen driver.
Yes.
She's probably going to be mad at me for telling this story, but one time she drove it right into her garage. Just thought it was in reverse.
And you know what?
And was in drive.
The door was damaged. The Volkswagen unscathed. That's how tough these things are.
The safety is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should challenge the World Guinness Book of Records for how many people have been in a Volkswagen.
There's how many others? You know this answer.
Oh,
25.
25
Yeah,
people
25
into
people.
one bug?
In
bug, yeah.
one bug, yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. And did you know that the Volkswagen dealership in town, it's the only 100% locally owned dealership left in Kamloops?
And did you also know that Volkswagen has been in Canada exact number of years the BC Lions have been alive?
We bow to nobody.
7-0. We don't bow to anybody.
And they own Lamborghini
Yep.
as well as one of their brands.
Yes.
Porsche?
Audi?
Porsche?
Porsche. There's
Audi, I
Audi?
think. Audi.
Bennett
yeah.
knows.
Bennett knows.
And there's
yeah.
one more. There's one more.
Do you drive a Volkswagen, Bennett?
Ducati? Bugatti?
What do you drive?
Not sure.
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Greg? Chev. What do you drive, Mike? Multiple rigs?
I got an old Buick that I drive in the summers and a Jeep that I drive the rest of the day. And I love my van.
Yeah,
I
the
gotta tell
van.
you, I have a van I love so much.
It's probably being
Absolutely.
broken into as we speak.
As
Bill,
we
what do you
speak.
drive?
Yeah.
Honda. Me too.
But
We
we're
haven't
gonna
even
go out
introduced
check
our
out
show.
Volkswagen.
That's a problem. We've talked a lot about our sponsors and not one thing about who's on our show today. So let's talk about that. The gaffer, Vanni Sartini.
Because that's the only way to make the 3 points tonight. So, tutti insieme, su, andiamo, 3 punti, vinciamo, dai, 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 dai.
Vancouver Whitecaps head coach. Hard times right now. How's he doing? We'll talk to him.
Yep.
Mustard seed.
Kelly Thomson, he runs the Mustard Seed, the social agency in town that helps those who need help, and he'll be talking about all sorts of things related to that that demographic.
Cool. I also went last weekend to the provincial short track speed skating championships. Kamloops Long Blades hosted them, and it was actually really cool to see some of these kids. Like it's like you have to be a valedictorian or a polished public speaker or a math genius to be in this club. These kids were so impressive. I left with a big smile on my face, and we're going to play some video from that. And you can find the results in our newspaper, our fantastic newspaper, and online, KamloopsThisWeek.com. What do we got front page today?
Front page, we got a feature on, actually it's a feature on technology and childcare, early learning and how they deal with technology, the good, the bad, and the others. And there's a really interesting story in there. Brianne Massey did it 3 stories. And the story I like the best is Little Fawn Nursery on the Kamloops Reserve. They talk about how they use technology to teach the kids, but the cool thing is they're resurrecting a language there, and their technology is helping them resurrect a language that is being lost because as the elders die, fewer people speak the native language.
Well, we had Shane Gottfriedson on, and he was talking
Yeah.
about with the money that they're going to get.
From the settlement,
Yeah.
that's what they want to do. They want to build it. I know they teach the language in I think Valley View was the last I heard, but they want to really. And you can go to firstvoices.com. If you go there, you can actually take short courses to learn. Anyone can do it. Just basic phrases of the I can't pronounce it, but it's the Secwepemc language. It's a longer word. It's hard to pronounce, but it's really, really cool. They have images of coyotes, and if you go up to True and you see the stop signs, it says "Estile," that's stop in the language. So you can go from there, and they're doing this really cool thing at the daycare, also at the Select School of Excellence. So you're trying to save a language. They say that every year or every month, every year, X amount of languages are lost on Earth.
Sad, eh?
And so this is a great thing they're doing
Yeah,
there.
that's sad. We do have a couple minutes before we get to Vanny. Blazers last night. Did you listen to the broadcast? Greg was watching the Ducks play.
Yeah, he was watching the Ducks tank for Bedard that the Canucks should be doing. The Blazers were in Seattle playing probably the best team in the entire...
number one ranked team?
Number one ranked team, and they came out on top 3-2 in a shootout, right?
They won in a shootout.
They're up 2-0.
Stankoven was injured in the second period.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it's going to be serious. They had no Dalen Kiefler.
Yeah, he's out
Dylan
for a few
Ernst
weeks.
let a soft one in early, but he bounced back, made some big saves. What I wanted to talk about, though, this broadcast, we had him on last week. He's my buddy. I'm biased and everything, but Keane was on fire. Mm-hmm. He was on fire because this game, as the game went on, there was some wasted fans right in front of him. And his broadcast booth in Seattle, it's right in the thick of it. Mm-hmm. And one guy was just in his mic, Blazers suck, like yelling at. Keane can get fired up. He kept it together pretty good, but he started ripping on this guy in the broadcast. Mm-hmm. So too many drinks, and the whole atmosphere, it was like you're in the rink. So shout out to my guy John Keane. I think you mentioned it. I think he's the best.
He is the
in the
best.
Western
He
League.
is, and that's not me. Others have said the same thing. And interesting last night. Interesting thing is that I was surprised at how low the attendance was. You have 2 of the best teams in Canada,
Kent.
and they got like 3,300
Tuesday
people or
night.
something. Still,
But still, yeah.
it's a nice arena. It's a newer arena.
Keane too. He would have been right over. Yeah, like to this as he's calling
Well,
the
there
game.
was that Kelowna
Yeah.
Rocket story, right, where was he fighting with the guy with the horn or something?
Kelowna goal horn guy, there's some history there. Marty the Marmot in Victoria, the mascot there, some history there. Yeah, some good times and good memories with John
Running
Keane.
hot at the
Running hot.
Marty the Marmot?
Marty the Marmot is the Victoria Royals mascot.
Oh, I thought that was like a nickname from college or something like that. Marty the Marmot.
No. Okay, that's been good. Let's move on to last week, this week with Vanni Sartini. It's brought to you by Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center.
We have, this wonderful Whirlpool here, and if you want something in a lower price range, I do have a floor model for sale right here. If you want to have a look inside here, always knock first, just in case there's a salad dressing inside. But
Looking at it just cracks me up.
funny story, I had a gentleman in here yesterday and he brought his blanket in. He was here 3 times and I finally realized he was an undercover cop.
Steve's dad jokes are undeniably painful, but there is nothing cringeworthy about the service at Gord.
Vanni Sartini, manager of the Vancouver Whitecaps. How are you doing today, Vanni?
Very good, very good. Excited for tonight, so really good.
Good. Before we get to tonight and soccer, I wanted to ask you about your father. He was a photo archivist for a newspaper. Yeah. Which newspaper was that?
La Repubblica.
So did you grow up with an interest in media?
Yeah, actually, yes. I love media. My major in college is actually communication, so it's something that I've been surrounded. They told me, I don't remember it. They told me when I was like 5. I had this big newspaper and I was trying to read everything and I put it on the floor of the house and trying to read everything. So that's I always had this big interest in media.
I'm wondering how your job now has changed your view on media. Has it?
Well, not too much. I actually enjoy the media part because I think that is one of the moments where you can, let's say, bring your message to the fans even directly. And then, of course, I don't agree with sometimes with what some of the members of the media say about our team, but it's normal, so that's okay.
Yeah, there's been some criticism. It's an 0-2 start for the team. I'm wondering who, when times aren't going so well, who is your closest confidant?
Well, my wife for sure, and I think big shout out to her in the sense that she takes all my I would say, I don't want to say negativity, but also all my flow of emotions. When you are in a leader of a group, you need always to be kind of centered and balanced and in front of them and even in front of the media and everything. So when you're home, you're really yourself. Then, of course, you were talking about my dad before. I have a conversation with him too. And I have a big group of friends in Italy that they also support me a lot. So that's a good support system.
You mentioned advice from your dad. Can you share a tidbit, even if it's something that you remember from growing up, on how he encouraged you to deal with adversity?
Well, the easiest one is to, if you believe that a thing is the right thing to do, keep working on it. But the most important thing, I would say, it's also the fact that so he played also as a semi-professional level, and he's a goalkeeper coach and everything. So he's been in the game a lot, and he always said to me that even if you're a coach, it's not your team; it's the players' team, and you need to find. Even sometimes there are things that you want to solve, the solution are not the ideal thing that you think. You need always to adapt on the right moment.
Your team has played some wonderful football and come out on the losing end. So what positives are you taking away from the start of the season?
Well, the first game against RSL was very good, to be honest. We are developing a style of play that we want to do, and we think that is going to make us successful. We are playing well with the ball. We are pressing well. We are creating a lot of chances. Unfortunately, we haven't exploited all the chances that we have in both the games. At the end of the first half, we could have been at least 2-0. And we didn't kill the game, and that's our main mistake, because of course we play in a league that is very hard, and it's if you don't exploit your chances when you have it, sooner or later the other team comes back.
You grew up in Florence, I believe, right?
Yes.
And I was there 4 years ago, and it's probably the greatest city I've ever been to. So beautiful. And you probably supported Fiorente, the team there.
Yes.
So you've been in MLS for a few years now. Where would MLS be on the level? It wouldn't be Serie A, obviously, or the Premier League. But where is MLS seen from people in Europe now? Has it risen, and what caliber would it be equal to in a European league?
Well, MLS, I think now has risen a lot. I came here at the beginning of 2016, and so now this is my 7th year. I worked 3 years with the U.S. Federation and then for the Whitecaps, and I saw like an enormous growth in 7 years. It's like at the moment, I can tell you, because so I worked in professional soccer in Italy before coming here, and I think that you're right. We are not still at the level of being on a top league, on one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. So, the Bundesliga, the Serie A, the Premier League, La Liga, Ligue 1, so are better than MLS. But we need to be honest. But any MLS team will not be, I would say, a fish out of water in the second division of this tournament. So the second division of Germany, the second division of England,
right. Okay.
The second division of Italy. So they would be okay there. And I think that our best team in MLS, I would say, like Los Angeles and Philadelphia, they were the 2 best teams last year. They could play in Serie A.
This is a massive game for the club tonight.
Yeah.
Concacaf Champions League. I'm wondering, though, do you think that the general Vancouver sports fan really is invested in this type of game, the non-league game? And what's your take on how the fan base is tuned into these type of non-league games?
Well, we need to educate more the fans about it, and it's on us, to be honest, to do it, because it's not in the North American culture to think that soccer you have the league, but also you have the cup, and you have also the international competition. So I give you an example. Last year, so we are in the Concacaf Champions League because we won the Canadian Championship last year, and the Canadian Championship last year we had to win 4 games. Until the final, there was basically not too much interest from the fans in Vancouver, but then we promote the game of the final in a way. We educate them to tell them that it was a very big, important thing for the team, for the club, to win a trophy, that we didn't have a trophy since 2015, that the stadium was packed. Everyone remembers that night of one of the most beautiful night for the Whitecaps in the last year. So I think that we need to make some strides in the sense of educating the North American public that soccer is not only league, because that's how they are wired in sense of all the other major sports in North America, with the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, and so on. But there's a very important competition that also go away from the league, and the Champions League is really important. Just to give you an example, last year Seattle won, and they had the right to play in the World Cup like a month ago, playing with the top team in the world. So that's actually a thing that is really, really important for us.
The last time I talked to you, things were going very well for the club, and I was asking you about your bubbly personality and your joia de vivere. Is it still there?
Yeah. Of course, guys. Of course, it's like you are focused on your job, on your there's up and down when you lose, when things are not going well. But at the end, it's still soccer. So that's it's as I say every time, it's the most important thing of my life, but it's not my life. So that's the important thing is that that's a lot of things that are going well, and I'm enjoying life even when we lose. Of course, I'm not the day after the game, because I'm destroyed. Like Sunday, I was destroyed, to be honest. but from Monday we get recharged again.
So I love your motivational speeches. I'll play a little clip here.
Stay in the game against this defense. We can score 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. So we need to stay in the game till the end, because tonight we win. Even if you're down 2-0. Andiamo, dai!
Tonight, do you have anything up your sleeve for your motivational speech that you can give us a preview, or does this just come to you on the spot and you just say what's ever on your mind?
Well, it comes on the spot, but what I thought for tonight will be mostly, as I told you before, I'm gonna give you like an anticipation. Like I'm gonna play them the clip also when we scored the final penalty last year when we won the Canadian Championship. That's the reason why we're here tonight. So remembering the joy, the togetherness, the sense of accomplishment that we get last year, in order to say, hey, we can do it also this year too, and having this kind of positive visualization in order to, I would say, also remove a little bit of down feeling that we have at the moment after the 2 losses, and try to get into this week that is very important, not only for today but also for Saturday with Dallas, and get as many wins as we can.
From the first one to the second one to the third one to the end of the game, because for sure we're gonna do a great game. So, su, andiamo, vinciamo, e
Anything else, Chris?
Just one last thing. If you can, try to get promotion and relegation in soccer in North America. I love it. It's a great thing.
I actually, to be honest, I think that as a soccer fan is the normal way to do it. I don't think
it'll never happen, but it'd be great if it was
never
here.
happen. Yeah. Between me and you, I think it will happen if MLS is going to be open also to the Mexican team, and then now we have 60 teams, and then we have a big.
Yeah, they have the tiers. Yeah.
League, and then we have tiers.
Yeah,
that's for me. That's my it's like we are talking in front of an espresso and talking about soccer like this. But
I would love it. Yeah.
When it will happen. Yeah.
I should ask you actually one more question. The TRU Wolfpack, our university team in Kamloops, they just won the national championship, the U Sports Championship. Did you hear about that at all? Do you have any connections to Kamloops or to John Antilov?
I know John very well because he's part of our academy center system, and before being the head coach of the team, I was the head of the academy basically. So I was in charge of also the methodology. So I had a lot of meetings with John. I'm very happy. I didn't know that they won the national championship, so I'm very happy for him because he's a very good coach, but also I love him as a man. So I'm very happy for him.
Okay, Vanni, thanks for your time. Andiamo, appreciate it.
Good luck.
Grazie mille, andiamo. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
There's a reason that guy is loved by so many people. He's so honest and he's so open and he's so thoughtful.
I know, he's
a good guy.
He gives you the time of day. He cares about the answers. Mm-hmm. I hope they win. I hope he stays.
I'm getting jacked. I'm going to watch the game tonight. I wasn't going to.
Yeah. Mike's
going to watch it too.
He's still there.
Mike's right into it. Yeah.
I might watch. I'm interested in knowing where part of Italy he's from, so I can figure out how we're related. But
Florence. Yeah. I think it's Fiorentina, the team that.
Yeah, Fiorentina and Florence, and I was there in 2017, and I've never had. Well, I had a better trip. I've had a really great trip. It was the most beautiful city I've ever been to. Saw David and
I went to Italy. What else did you see?
Well, the Uzi Museum, the Uffizi, beautiful museum. It has all the. But David was the most incredible thing. Seeing you come around the corner, you see all the unfinished Michelangelo stuff, and then at the end, under this dome, is David, and it would just put chills down your spine. It's
good
so
food?
Beautiful. Food was the best in Italy. France was good too, but that was amazing.
Italy.
I love Italy. Went to Rome and then down to Sicily.
Yeah. We
amazing.
stayed from Rome and then up to Venice and drove everywhere.
I just think in general,
Beautiful.
the people are more colorful and interesting.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Maybe that's a generalization, but you go to Rome, it's just everyone's so animated and colorful, and
Italy was
the way
great.
they express themselves.
Florence was the most beautiful city because they've had thousands of years to perfect it, and plus they have far more people and far less land. But you go into these cities and they're all plazas. There's no cars. The cars are all on the outside.
Yeah.
You go to all the cities, France, Italy. It's beautiful.
What I really liked is when he was talking, he started talking with his hands.
Yeah.
It started going on like crazy. I really enjoyed that.
I think I got.
I think Volkswagen's got its month worth already.
Our next guest is waiting, so I should go get him.
Okay, sounds good.
Don't go there if you want to survive. There are people out there waiting to get by. I'm taking all of my time, alright, while you just sit there all night getting up.
Kelly Thomson, you've seen the show
I have.
a couple of times?
A couple of times.
Okay. Studio, what do you think of our studio?
It's good.
You okay with it? That's
I'm
Bennett, that's
fine.
Greg, that's Mike, that's Bill. You know Chris?
Yes,
I do.
We met during. We met a couple times. So I think the time I talked to you the most was just recently, where we did a tour. A couple people from work did a tour of the Mustard Seeds Outreach Center at 181 West Victoria Street, and I wrote a column about it. And I thought it was amazing what you guys do there that the great unwashed don't know you do there. From a men's recovery center to a women's shelter to 7,000 meals a month. What else is going on there that the public doesn't know but should know?
Oh, wow. Well, I think the biggest thing is that one of the biggest pieces that we function by is we really believe in the detox and recovery side of things. And so we really try to, in our day room is kind of the hidden jewel. We would have seen it where...
Yes, right in the front there.
Exactly. It's just a bunch of tables, and people sit and have coffee. They play games. What we're trying to do is to build the trust. Because if you can build the trust with the folk, then you start to hear their stories. And if you can start to hear their stories, maybe we can find the pieces that we can help them and maybe get them back on the track of that they should have been on in the first place. So that's really the key. And from there, it would depend on if maybe we understand that there's some trauma that we can help, we can find one of our counselors can help with maybe. Maybe it's one of our advocates, they just don't have the funds to get a house or a place to rent or live or whatever that might look like.
Right.
So really that's the focus that we try to aim at is how do we help the people go from and basically being alive to having a life.
Thriving, from life to thriving. I
Exactly.
know the one thing when we were touring the Mustard Seed, that's one thing. The advocates you have there are amazing. They connect people to housing, to government supports, to all this other stuff, and they're working hard. And the one thing in the day room I noticed at the end, we hang out there for a bit, is these people have hard lives. They have trauma, but you can hear this is like a respite, and you can hear laughter at those tables,
Yes.
and they're laughing, and it's not like that's. But you would think that because people in the media, and we write about this stuff from a negative point, from a consequential point of view, but you see, and I talked to this one tall guy there, and he was telling jokes, and he had a coffee, not a McDonald's coffee, but he had a coffee,
Yes.
and then he was talking to some people, and it's not weird, but it's nice to see everyday conversation and laughter from people who probably have challenges I can't even begin to imagine. So it's cool.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
One of the things as part of the day room, what we really try and do is to get to know their names, their first names, and
So
so
not
when
just tall guy.
not just
Not
tall
just
guy.
tall guy.
Yeah. So it's okay. Hasn't been around as long.
But he was a tall guy.
Yeah. But I promise you, one of my staff would know his actual name. I
Oh, they
guarantee
did.
it.
I think they introduced some, but it was so many
Yeah.
people coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
so I mean, and that's a big piece of that trust, is that as they walk in the door, they actually get to hear their name called.
Yes.
And when you think about it, where does a homeless person hear their name?
Yes.
Really, right? I mean, they're usually told, get out of here,
Yeah, hey, you.
move on, whatever.
Well, I know who knew his name. It was Dieter. The cook.
Dieter would know his name.
Dieter knows everybody's
Absolutely.
names. Yes, absolutely.
What does it do to you, and how challenging is it when you are kind of following somebody on a journey and they have a setback? You know, like, does that affect you personally?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, probably deep down, sure, it does. I want everyone to succeed and do well in that area. But that's part of an addict's life. You know, if you can go maybe 3 days this time, and we can help you get back to that spot again, and maybe next time it's a week, maybe next time it's a month, maybe next time, and before you know it, maybe you're free.
Yeah. West Victoria Street, it's kind of a lightning rod for opinion, controversy. What needs to change? What would you like to see happen?
What would I like to see happen? Well, the biggest thing that to me would make a large difference is to have additional detox and recovery areas. A lot of the folk, when you talk to them, they aren't happy in the life they're in. They don't want to be there, a lot of them. There are a few that do. But the majority of them, the reason they take drugs is not to get high. It's to numb the pain and to get away and get a respite from what's bothering them. So, I mean, if we were able to, you know, get more people into a recovery-based program, and there's many different styles of recovery, it's not just one style, we could, I think, lessen the amount that are on the street causing the problems.
Your outreach center, I think, has 17 rooms upstairs for men, right?
That's correct.
In recovery, and it's a year program. Some go 3, 6, 9 a year.
Correct.
And the gentleman running it has been through it. So it's like, I've been there. I know what I'm talking about. I know what you're going through.
Yes.
So those 17 rooms, you're saying if we were to extrapolate that and to have some of those all over town, like that kind of program, it would make a big difference. But of course, it's money, it's energy, it's time, and it's all that.
It's a lot of different things, and a lot of it too. It revolves around public, and you know, we all understand the NIMBYism thing that goes around these days.
Where do they go? That kind of thing.
Exactly, but the thing that people I think really need to understand is that what you see in our day room and out front, that most people drive by and I think just kind of go, oh yeah, that's that place. Mm-hmm. Like you say, don't realize what's happening in the backgrounds. Mm-hmm. But when you make that, if you put them into a recovery program, and it's an abstinence-based program, or one that, you know, they use Suboxone or one of those drugs that it's just mediates, what that does is it changes the whole demographic in that area, because now they're not out looking at doing theft, and they're not looking to make money to get their drugs. There's a lot of things change, and at that point, they become much more like regular people in society. It takes, you know, 3 to 5, 6 months to get brain fog out of a person who's been on drugs for a long length of time.
Is there anything that's bothering you about the perception of the social discord, I guess, the social issues generally? Is there anything that bothers you about the perception?
I mean, there's probably a lot of things that bother me, but it's not that. I think a lot of it is just people don't understand and have the education to understand some of it. And right now we are working with a broken system. You know, there's a lot of people that are on the streets that literally have nowhere to go. You know, like, it's wonderful to say to people, you know, you need to leave here and go. Where? Where can they go? We don't have enough places that we can get them. There's broken places like, you know, Day One used to be a Phoenix Center. They've got the detox center. They've got a waiting list to get in. Mm-hmm. And if you go through your, you know, 5 to 10 day program and you come out of detox, you're ready for recovery. Most of the recovery programs are full. You know, our 17-bed program, I could double it and
still have a waiting list.
Potentially still have a waiting list.
Yeah.
You know, so there's gaps, and if you go and you phone to get into recovery or to detox, that may take you a week. Well, in that week, you've probably relapsed.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do come out of detox and you can't get straight into a recovery, if it's one day, you've probably relapsed. And now you can't get back into the program for a bit.
You're back to square one.
Yeah. Exactly. There's this bit of a churning mill going on.
Okay. Another issue I want to talk to you about, and this is because I want to highlight it because it's a good news thing, and it's your extreme weather emergency shelter in partnership with the Kamloops Alliance Church, north end of Overlanders Bridge. I mention this because you've been to council, I think, at least twice, and the first time you were there, you were reporting on how it's going after it was running for a few weeks. And from all accounts that I have heard, it's wonderful. The neighbors were consulted, which was a big thing, I think.
Yes.
Tell them what's happening here. Here's what you can expect. If there's any problems, call this number. That kind of thing. And a lot of people have used it. And I think it was Mike O'Reilly or one of the councillors said, it sounds like that's a template that all shelters should operate by. We'd have much less problems in town. Just briefly, how does that shelter run, and what makes it run well?
I think there's a lot of components. We've got, the engagement process that we used was really to understand what were the concerns in the neighborhood.
Before you opened?
Before we opened, yeah. We sent out, I can't remember, 150 letters. Myself and the two pastors actually went around and visited every business that was within that 3-block area, and had conversations with them also. And then we invited everybody back to a community night. And we had 2 community open houses in the church so that they could kind of understand how we were going to do it and what it was going to look like. And
setup,
and I mean, to be expected, some of the meetings were not pleasant from where I sit.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of pointed questions. But the important thing was that I needed to understand what it is that they felt was needed to make it successful. And one of the biggest things was the transportation point, so that people weren't walking back and forth through their neighborhood all day. And so we managed to come up with a way of bringing people to the shelter, and then in the mornings we take them out of the shelter so they don't actually walk in that area. And the second part was what happens the rest of the time at night. And so we proposed that we would take one of our teams in our van, and every hour at mixed interval times, we go out and we drive the whole neighborhood. We even drive up Tranquille, because at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's been a few times where, minus 27, you find somebody under a blanket and the blanket's stiff.
Yeah.
And so we've got the van there. We can say, look, do you want to come?
Yeah.
And that's been great.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is that it was not always easy to have those conversations early. But if you listen to them and you can understand, and there is something you can do, why wouldn't you do it? And make it just simpler and easier.
Proactive rather than reactive. And I think part of the problems with a couple of other shelters in town was that they were decided upon, and then after the fact, the neighbors were told, well, this is going here, and that got their backs up a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Final thoughts? Anything you want to share with us?
Anything. Wow.
The floor is yours.
Music, sports.
Do you drive a Volkswagen?
No, I drive a Mini, actually.
Oh.
But, final thoughts, the biggest thing to me is just saying thank you to our city. Kamloops has got some of the biggest hearts, even though, yes, there's issues and there's problems going on. To me, if we can get people around the table and we can agree on things and talk about a path forward, it's not always going to be pleasant, but that's what we need to do. We need to talk about how we can do better with what we're doing, and West Victoria is that way, Tranquille Corridor is that way. There are things that I believe we can do, and they're the right things to do. And I'll be in front of council again near not too far distant future, giving a wrap up as to the emergency shelter and what we learned from it as well. And
so next year, if it opens again, you learn from what didn't go well, and you build upon what went well, and that's the way you do it.
Exactly right. Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being at our table. This was pleasant. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
LED photo. That's Leah Turner. Mike, are you at the stage where the pandemic seems like a long time ago to you?
No, I still feel the when I do events and stuff like that, I still feel like there's that whole thing. It's still fresh and coming up again.
Yeah.
And our business has changed a lot since then. We're doing a lot of streaming, a lot of video stuff. So I was just thinking about this yesterday. We were in Kelowna, and that exact thing was going on. So.
Well, what about? Do you have moments where you're just like super excited that you can do these things again?
Yeah. Like I'm in an event and things are going really great and it's exciting and I'm like, this is great. I'm happy that we're able to do this. Or even just walking around, going into somewhere without having a mask on. So yeah. I still feel it. Yeah.
Chris, on your phone there, or
just checking a message here? I was going to check something that has relevance to this thing here.
Oh,
and
that's the buddies chat group right there.
No,
that's Pipes from Abbotsford and Daryl and Bighead for sure.
No, I was gonna say this. I can't find the bloody thing, but there's a kid who ran into. He ran into LED at the show and at the meet, and he sent me some photos.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I have to
that's
get
right.
back to the kid, and I have a million. I can't even find them.
He's a Valley View secondary student.
Yeah, and he sent some photos, and I was supposed to. I haven't got back to him yet because it's been busy. But he's he's a photographer. He's a good photographer, and he sent some photos like this. I wasn't sure if that was the kids or LEDs because he sent some. He sent a whole bunch. I looked at a couple. I got to get back to him.
Yeah,
LED's mentoring him. We could run some of his stuff maybe.
Well, LED said he's going away at some point. I think after the Memorial Cup. And
yeah, and it's the kids' photos are pretty good. They're like this, and I was just gonna grab his name. I think it's John. I can't remember James. Anyway, he was at the and that's like another thing. That's LED and KTW helping out the young people. It's kind of cool.
My whole point for the question to Mike there was that's how I left feeling Mac Isle. Just kind of talking to these kids. I was a little bit tired. And just their energy was kind of like, I don't know, osmosis, I guess. It was just like, man, these kids are, what they went through in the pandemic and how happy they are to have these events back. And the Kamloops Long Blades went hard times. Like their membership dipped heavy. Plummeted. Yes. Mm-hmm. And they're still kind of working their way back up. And having these events are huge because people even just at Mac Isle can walk by and see these kids skating and, oh, that looks kind of cool. Like, I want to do that. Mm-hmm. And these three kids I talked to, it's Patrick Gu, Leah Turner, and Sylvie Lloyd. They are basically lifers. They've been at the club forever. And I interviewed them, and you can watch that tape right now.
I love it because I've been skating since I was just a little kid. Like since I could walk, basically, I grew up in this club. My mom started the club. But it always feels good when we're able to put on a good meet at home, show off the nice facility we have.
I think the first thing about speed skating is that you get to race, and it's just super exciting, just skating around on the ice really fast.
This is Leah Turner.
Hi.
You just won your heat. How did you feel out there?
Pretty good. I was kind of dying, but I didn't know where she was behind me, and I wanted top two, and I'm like, why not win the race? So I just went with it.
We got some really cool new equipment for electronic timing this year, so it's really nice to be able to show that off at a big competition. We have really amazing officials who've been in our sport and in our club for a really long time too. So it's just like, we feel really proud when we get to host a competition here, and it's nice to be able to perform well at home as well.
But also, you get to meet lots of great people, so that goes for my teammates in the club. We can work together and get faster together. But also, today at the BC Short Track Championships, we've got people from all over BC, and it's really great talking to everyone.
Great to be back because we had a couple of years with no competitions and had to rebuild the club, and now we're to the point where we're able to host some big competitions again. It's really exciting.
So the pandemic was really tough for, I think, all speed skaters, and for myself, during the 2019-2020 season, it was the first year that I qualified for the BC Short Track, but unfortunately it got cancelled, which was kind of demotivating.
Some tough times, like a lot of clubs during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How nice is it to see it kind of bouncing back and to be able to host these kind of events again?
It's definitely nice to see. It's like I've been here for like 10 years and stuff, and definitely that was a bit of a hard time, and we lost a lot of skaters, especially the young guys, but getting some of the younger ones in provincials and just seeing so many skaters out there and so many new ones too come to the sport is amazing to see.
I know lots of people in my club had to quit skating because of the pandemic, and from the other clubs as well, but we've been able to keep some old friends and make new friends as well, and so it's really refreshing to see everyone again, see how much everyone's grown and improved, and it's really great racing here today.
the joy in the skaters to actually like be back with their friends and, you know, testing each other's speed again and everything. So yeah, it's really great.
My parents are here watching me today, and so it's a really great experience for me to be able to race in Kamloops.
Do you feel like the long blades and speed skating get enough attention here in Kamloops from folks like myself in the media, or could we do a better job?
We could always have more attention for sure. We've got a lot of really good up-and-coming skaters to watch out for that are going to be performing well on the national level in the coming years. And we just have a really amazing recreation program too. It's a sport for everybody, all ages, all levels.
And it's great for the community to actually see us in the media and remember that we exist because we're a lower profile sport. A lot of people just only see us in Olympic years or whatever. So it's really good for the club. I'm sure we'll get a few new members, people passing by, seeing the racing and saying, hey, that's kind of cool. I think I'd like to do that.
So I'm actually graduating early from high school, and so I'm planning to work in software development.
Where are you going to go to university?
Still not decided where I want to go yet. I'm looking at UBC, Toronto, and Waterloo right now, but still have to decide.
So it sounds like you have good grades.
Yeah.
Good scholarship offers, it sounds like.
Yeah, I do.
You do.
At school, my other interest other than speed skating is I really enjoy solving math problems and computer programming.
Right, so that's why you're going to get into software.
Yeah.
And make a lot of money.
Hopefully.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good job. Appreciate it.
That kind of age and going to university now, it's a lot, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't enjoy it. So the community is so great. I love it here.
We're a really welcoming club and really welcoming sport, so there's something for everybody for sure.
You sound like the club president.
I love to be an advocate for this sport. It really is a great positive environment. So,
okay, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Good job. That was fun. Thank you.
Any thoughts there?
My son learned to skate at that club.
At the Long Blades?
Yep, he wasn't doing the speed skating, but during the speed skating, they had learned to skate when he was 5 or 6, and at the end of the ice there, at that very rink, Olympic ice.
Do you remember kind of the parent group and hanging out and chatting?
They were great.
That didn't make the final cut, but they talked about how it's kind of neat for the parents too.
They were great. They're all groups there. In fact, one of the parents, and she didn't have skates, but my son could barely stand up, so they picked him up and carried him to the and put him down, and he got up, and then about it was an 8-week course. And they would carry him the first 2 weeks because he was like, I think 4 or 5. And then by week 8, he was skating back and forth.
And he went on to play minor hockey. He was a goaltender.
Yeah, played minor hockey. And if it wasn't for the Kamloops Long Blades, he'd probably be up to no good.
And Peter Puck, when he used to
chop
guys in the head.
Well, he hit someone over the head because he saw it in a hockey game and he thought that's what you're supposed to do. That's when he was 5 or 6. That was interesting.
Patrick Gu, he's like a genius Tickle Me Elmo or something.
Yeah,
he's just the
like
most,
Guy Smiley from Sesame Street. He's so infectious. He's just so happy.
Pull the string and he solves like quantum theory problems.
What a nice kid, man.
Yeah, just nice kids. And Sylvie Lloyd spoke so well, and Leah Turner. I just thought, man, these kids are like valedictorians and geniuses. And
see, the world's not all dark and gloomy, Marty. This is
you're the vulture.
This is some positive stuff right here. It's good stuff. That's very good. I like that.
All right, let's wrap the show. Any thoughts from you? I thought you'd push back a little bit more on my calling you out for work things, but not much there.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, we're talking about stuff that 99.9% of the people either don't care about or don't know about. So it's you bitching about work again because it's like, oh, look at me. It's like I'm putting you in the salt mine or the coal mine or something. You're like a teacher. Just relax, man.
Your attitude's off today. I can tell you're on your phone. You're
relax.
What's
No,
wrong?
everything's good. Everything's
something
good.
At home?
No, everything's great. I curled last night. Curled quite well.
How many beers?
We shared one jug afterwards upstairs in the curling club.
And then you shared one wine bottle to your dome.
No, I got home and my lovely wife was there with the dog, and we watched a couple of shows, and I had 2 glasses of wine, and then I went to bed quite early, 11:30, 12, and then got up at 6:30, walked the dog, and then went into work because, of course, I gotta keep this machine rolling.
Yeah, the vultures.
There's lots going on. That's all. Lots going on, and I'm actually looking forward because tonight my wife's working late till 8, and I have.
She's bringing home the bacon as she always does.
I'm thinking, tonight I have one of the few nights that I have nothing going on, and I might go home and just relax and watch the Whitecaps and this Honduran club, because I'm not a huge soccer fan, right? More so than Mike, but not as much as
But you love Vancouver sports.
I love Vancouver sports. I love the Whitecaps going way back to the '79.
Carl Valentine's your best friend.
Carl Valentine's my best. You know, Kevin Hector, the greatest Whitecap of all time, and that's why I like Derby County and the
Tony
championship.
Waiters, you love Tony Waiters.
There's a connection there.
Peter Beardsley.
Peter Beardsley, Willie Johnson. Willie Johnson, when he was playing in 1978, they're playing in San Jose, and he was going to take a corner kick.
Oh my God, Mike!
And then
what about Johnny Campbell?
No, a fan offered him. A fan offered him. He had a glass of beer, so he went over, swigged the beer,
corner kick,
and they scored.
Yeah,
Willie Johnson. We should show it on.
Willie Johnson. I will. I'll bring that up.
It's so good.
Preparing for a corner kick that could win it. Never being one to refuse a generous offer. And first things first.
Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. Make you want to holler, hally-ho. Burns your tummy,
It's in. There's a goal. Peter Daniel got his first goal of the year.
Jack Bell is he's gonna love this.
But the point is, I'm looking. It's the little, when you get old and there's nothing to look forward to anymore. The little things like going home tonight, grabbing a six-pack, putting some steaks on it. You're by yourself, because I love being by myself. I got my dog, and I'm gonna watch this game. And I'm gonna put a phone away.
Turn your phone off. Because the buddies chat groups all day today.
I'm gonna focus. And here's the neat thing. This is going to the weeds a bit. I'm really interested to see how the Whitecaps adapt to a Honduran style of play, which is totally different what they're used to in North America.
Well, the Hondurans are going to sit back and play 9 back.
That's right.
Today.
They're going to play that boring flop on the ground kind of game. But I think if they attack and they get them going, they're going to have to get them coming forward, and then it's going to
the Caps need to win because they're going to go to Honduras.
Well,
and there's going to be flares and things go on the field.
Urine. They throw bags of urine at people down there, and away goals are worth 2, so double. So you got to give up nothing, and you have to go crazy on the road.
I wonder if Vanni's just going to push, because you could see
I would push because that's how they play, and then they have to come up, and then you exploit them.
And he gave a little pregame tidbit. He wants to fire the guys up.
Yes.
I think they're gonna be attack.
3-1 Whitecaps.
3-1 Cap. Hey, let's do a Bet Stamp doesn't sponsor us anymore, but let's do a bet. Well, I'm taking I'll take the Caps 2-1. So if we get the scoreline right, 20, you buy me a case of Club Car. So you say 3-1, I say 2-1. And
the score has to be exact, otherwise the bet's null and void.
Bet's off.
Okay. Or if it's over that, I win.
If they win 4-1 or more,
I win.
If they win by 3 goals or more, Mike wins.
And if Honduras wins, we'll split it between the rest of them over here.
Okay, perfect. I like that.
Okay. That's it for the show today. We are at 375 subscribers. We're almost at 400 subscribers. So thanks to everybody involved. We can't do it without, Gordy. Gordy was so excited he fell down there. Gord Stevens, Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. We can't do it without them. They're benevolent. They always have been. Volkswagen, Terry Lowe, thanks for coming on board. Melody Cregan, Snow Day, Club Car. Thank you. New distillery I hear coming up in the summer, please. Yeah. And Mike, McDonald's. The new Chicken Big Mac for Chris, for Bennett, for Greg, the engineer, for Magic Mike and Bill. We'll see you last week.